Hi, guys. Emmy here with the Graveyard Shift Talk Show. I'm here at the HCC Studio Theater in Ybor, where it is at. And I am here with Becca McCoy and Joe Parra, part of the cast and crew of Flying, a great show which explores the lives of women flyers post-World War II. And it's basically it's drawn from oral histories and memoirs of the women who served in the WASP, no, not a Marvel reference, a WASP program in WW2. And this play basically explores the aftermath of the war and the quiet daily acts of heroism that basically never earned a medal, but they should have. And here we are with Becca and Joe. And first, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to I know you guys have a preview tonight. And first and foremost, I want to thank you for that. And so can you, Becca, I guess we can start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about what role or position do you have with the show, and why did you guys decide to do this show in the first place?
Sure. I play Susan McCallan, and this is my dad. And Susan is one of the former WASPs, and while the small town that she lives in waits for her husband to return from the war, she has a precarious balance in place where she's keeping things going as they used to be, but with this new sense of liberation and not quite knowing what to make of this new world. And while this is happening, one of her husband's war buddies unexpectedly shows up and upsets this balance that she has in place. So it's a really lovely, my character is an amalgamation of WASPs. So there's things drawn from lots of different interviews. It's not based on any one specific person. But the playwright, Sheila Cowley, is local to Tampa Bay.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, she's tremendous. And she and I have collaborated many times. This is actually my fourth collaboration with Sheila just in 2017. So this is the second production of this play. It had its world premiere in upstate New York over the summer. And so it's really thrilling because all of the people who love and support her are able to come and see it. And it's really wonderful that Tampa Rep did this production.
That's great. Especially I know that you guys had to postpone it a little bit because of the hurricane. Yeah, and it's good that, you were able to, to do that. In fact, Becca, if you could turn maybe a tiny bit this way, that way they could see your lovely face. There you go. And that's great. And so you're going to have a preview tonight. Mm-hmm. And then when do you actually open?
Tomorrow.
Whoa, nervous a little bit? No, they're pros. They're not nervous. They know what they're doing. They don't know that Steven Spielberg is watching. I'm kidding. He's not. Are you, Steven? Are you watching? No. So anyway, all right. So we've been hearing a lot about WASP. So what does WASP stand for?
It's the Women's Air Force Service Pilots. And it's been...
This was a real thing.
This was a very real thing. And interestingly, a bit of their history got lost, but they were not a secret at the time. They were the cover of Time magazine. It was well known. 25,000 women applied to be WASPs. 1,084 of them were accepted and went through the program and served. But they were demilitarized. They were never granted military status. And so when they were disbanded, they were largely forgotten and their records were classified. And it wasn't until the 70s when the Air Force made an error of stating that women were going to be flying military planes for the first time that the WASPs organized and said, actually, no, that's not the case. And so since then, they have been granted military status. They've been given the Congressional Medal of Honor, and they can be buried in Arlington.
Wow, that's wonderful. I'm so glad that they were given that honor. Now, Joe, I don't want to forget about you because you play an important role in this too. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what role do you play? Obviously, you play her dad. Yeah. Is your dad in real life? No. Okay, just want to make sure that you never know. Sometimes that can happen. You never know.
To our knowledge, no, this is not.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's exclusive news. He is really... No, I'm kidding. Okay, so can you... Obviously, you play her father. Can you tell me a little bit more about your role here, and how does that play in with her being a WASP and this whole time period?
Well, my character, Doc Anvers, is the town doctor and also the sort of, if you will, pro tem curator of my son-in-law, whom I idolize and have the town idolize. Now, whether they would have done it without my assistance, I don't know, because everything I do is geared toward my son-in-law being a legend in his own time, or in my own time, as the case may be. And so I have all kinds of activities that are geared toward my son-in-law coming home, and it's one of the big hero that he is, and I want to make sure that he is the hero and stays the hero in everyone's mind.
And how does your character see her in this play? How does that dynamic work out?
Well, she's my daughter, and so in my own archaic manner, I look out for her in that sort of chauvinistic way that men were in the 40s.
They were like that in the 40s? I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, you think, right?
So then I guess that's interesting. So that when the son-in-law comes into the picture and he comes into the base, I guess that kind of plays off of the way that you see her and what she's doing. Now, I don't want to spoil too much of the play, but I guess there has to be a certain point in time that your character finds out about her being this wasp.
Yeah, well, I knew that all along, but it's a matter of adjusting thoughts to that, if you will, or looking at the wasps as sort of like a second-class citizen type thing. Again, that's the psyche of men in that period, though. So
and just to be clear with everyone, these women, they were on par with the pilots of that era.
Oh my gosh, they were unbelievable. They flew every plane in the military's arsenal, and they logged in 60 million miles in the 2 years.
60 million miles.
They were tremendous, and in a lot of ways, everything they did was dangerous, and a lot of the times they were sort of used to shame the male pilots. If they were scared to fly a B-29 bomber because it was intimidating, they would have a girl do it and go, "See, girl can do it. Why can't you?"
And exactly. And this is just another example of how, in that time period, you had this dichotomy of the men and the women having these established roles, and then really mainstream society got to see it when the men went off to war and the women had to stay home, and then who was going to do everything? Mm-hmm. So then we were forced to have the women take on all the men's roles. Rosie the Riveter. I don't know if I can do it with this hand, but anyway.
Not without looking obscene, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, yeah.
Well, let me tell you a quick story, because my, Sheila has set the play after the war. For her, that's where the real drama lies, not in the service itself. And interestingly, I found out some family history through the research of this, and my husband's grandmother was a riveter, which we didn't know. And when I was talking with her about this, it really hammered home how Sheila has, identified where the drama lies, because her next statement was not, "And this is how we held the tools, and this is what it was like to serve, and this is what it was like in the factories." She said, "I was a riveter, and that's why I went to beauty school to run my own salon, because I knew I had to be my own boss." Wow. The real drama for them is how it changed everything, and the trajectory of the face of employment in our country.
Sure.
Very powerful.
Yeah, and then of course we went to ERA and now we're here, and we're still kind of having a lot of the same issues. Not a lot has been resolved, quite frankly. So it's good to see this kind of play. I think it's really important and very relevant.
I want to toot Becca's horn here. She was also our drama.
I don't think she's carrying a horn, Joe. But
that's very good, Mr. Diaz.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I understand.
No, I get it.
Is this the first time you've been killed in front of a kid? No.
No, it isn't.
I wondered about that. But no, she's also our dramaturg for this, which means, in other words, she does all the history for the piece, and she has done incredible.
I can see and. I can see that, and that was coming to my next question. I was just about to ask. You stepped on my line, Joe. Gosh, man.
I was getting bored.
Who gets bored on this show? Anyway, I was going to ask. So with this comes, you're in a time period, and you kind of have to, in our industry, as it were, we kind of have to transport the audience to that time period. So can you talk to us a little bit about, basically first of all, how amazing this set looks? I know you guys can't see. I tried to film all of it. You guys will get to see it in throughout the video. But so how did you actually get this to look like the 40s? Because quite frankly, it does. And what else did you do, maybe audio-wise or how else to get the audience to see that?
The design team on the show is really stellar. Alan Lloyd did the set. He's actually in charge of First Night in St. Petersburg, but he's also a set designer, and it's extraordinary because it's a little bit abstract. It ties in these other elements. You can see like the runway lines on the floor, but it gives us everything that we need in our playground. The costumes are really stunning. They're by Connie Frankel, who's the wife of the artistic director, David Frankel. And then Joe Avril-Snell does the lights, which are absolutely stunning. And we also have a sound design. Matt Cowley, who's Sheila, the playwright's husband. He's the premier professional sound designer in Tampa Bay. And we have these soundscapes that come in between scenes that have excerpts of real newsreels about the wasps. And there is some you just hear these statements about the women, and they are so disparaging to our 2017 ears. And so it's a really lovely juxtaposition, because one thing to emphasize to the potential audience members is that it's a play with historical context. It's not a history play. I promise you're not going to get bogged down with a bunch of and you're going to be quizzed afterwards. It's just set in this.
Bring your number 2 pencil.
That's right. We have a bunch on my desk. We have,
not 2 tons of facts that you're going to walk away saying, yeah, I'm glad I heard that. No, it's a wonderfully dramatic piece that emphasizes these points without driving them into you like a wooden stake or anything. Right. And it's an astounding play. When I first read it, I was amazed. Because when I first heard about it, I said, I don't know. Then I saw a reading that we did at American Stage of it, and I said, that's very impressive. Then actually reading it, I said, it's even more impressive. Wow. So when I was offered the role, I jumped at it. I said, yeah, I'd love it.
I mean, this is wonderful. And of course, you can see the vision of the director through this, Robin Gordon, who's the director. Yes. And I mean, you can see that just director. Even between talking to them and being here, I'm already transported back in time. And by the way, I understand that in the cast playing the son-in-law, if I'm not mistaken, is a famous actor. Can you tell us a little more? Justin?
Justin Smith. He's actually my husband's war buddy who shows up and kind of sets the world on its ear by his unexpected presence. But yeah, he was in A Good Day to Die Hard with Bruce Willis. He was on Vampire Diaries. And recently he did Underground on WGN. He just filmed Belleville Cop down in Miami. He filmed Ozark.
Did a movie with Shia LaBeouf recently.
Yep, Shia LaWho? I'm sorry, Shia who? I'm kidding. I'm sorry. That was mean. Sorry, Shia. Sorry.
Name, but I mean, that's
No. You did okay. You did okay. I was just being mean.
Well, this is the first time that he's been on stage in 15 years. He relocated to this area within the last year for his wife's job, and he's tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. He's a gift to this production.
Wow.
So
Wonderful.
Don't miss him.
That's great. Well, really don't miss any of them, guys. And, as you can see, this play is definitely something that you guys need to see. So please do come and see it. So the preview is tonight at 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. And then can you tell us, so when is the performance going to be on?
We run Thursday through Sunday this week and next week.
September
21st is our official opening, and then we close here in Tampa October 1st, and we're going to transfer it over to St. Pete. And then we'll do 1 week at Studio at 620. So if you're on the other side of the bridge and you don't want to battle traffic, no worries. We're bringing it to St. Pete October 4th through the 7th.
Because they're flying over to St. Pete. That's it. Mic drop. I'm out. No. Okay.
Don't drop that mic.
No, it's expensive. I can't drop this mic. Okay, so I want to thank you both for your time. I think the set, yes, absolutely. Everything looks great. Guys, please come and support your local theater.
Please come and support us. We need to work. Thank you very much.
They need to work. And this, used to be my old classroom, but to see it like this is, quite frankly, pretty emotional for me. And
we had to stop him crying twice.
Yes, I'm just crying so much. Oh, my God. But if you guys could come, see what I just did? It's called acting. But if you guys just came down and supported this, that'd be great. Flying by Sheila Cowley, directed by Robin Gordon. It's going to be the Studio at 620 and Tampa Rep Theater presents this production. And if you want to see it, it's at HCC Ybor City Studio Theater, corner of East Palm Avenue and North 14th Street. And you can learn more about it at www.tamparep.org. But I think if they just come here in person, they can get the tickets here, correct?
I believe so.
I don't know about that. I'll be honest with you.
Well, if you can find out more, if you just go to tamparep.org, you can find out more about the tickets, and you can get them there. And then please come watch it, guys. And we'll hope to see you there. And until then, we're going to just fly away. And we'll see you next time on The Graveyard Shift. Peace!